Okay, so you're back. Clearly, you enjoyed the first video. Now, that year of getting my first job, I then moved on to 2023, which was last year, and this was where I started at the end of 2022. I started my hair business, which is Royal Hair. Now with this, I had nothing doing on the weekend, so I'm like, you know what, I want to save up my coins, and I started my business. I was living in a house with 3 other people, and I hated it. They were nasty, some of them, and obviously I was the only person like doing most of the cleaning. I also used the space to do people's hair, so I wanted to keep it very clean. My landlord was fine with everything that I did. It was just, you know, it was what it was. My rent was cheap, so I was able to save up all my money that I got from my then job, started doing hair, and I loved it. I loved the job that I did. I love the people I worked with. I learned so much. They literally flew me to their other offices, flew me out to do other work with other dentists, and that job allowed me to be in spaces and in rooms with people that were elevating and made me progressive in my journey as a dental assistant. And right now I can tell them I'm very good at what I do. I can talk, say anybody put in a room with any dentist, I am going to dominate that, period. After working this job, I feel like over time with me, as I'm in a space, I don't feel like, if I'm constantly doing the same thing, I don't see much growth. I get overwhelmed or underwhelmed, I don't know. And I don't, it's not that my performance is never, my work is not altered, it's just in terms of like the attitude towards other people. I'm not rude at any point, but it just feels off. When something feels off, I go based on energy. So if you're gonna give me a negative energy and a negative vibes, I just can't fake it. I'm sorry, I can't be a hypocrite. And so that's how it started to feel with this job. But guess what, that year, 2022 to 2023, I wanted to accomplish so much, and on my list I made a bingo vision board, and I accomplished almost everything on that list. I was able to get my G2 license, get my IELTS exam and pass with like a very high score. I think my IELTS was like 8.5, 9. Like my score for IELTS, my English exam, to get my permanent residency was high. And how I paid for my IELTS was through my hair business. I saved up from it and paid for it. I ended up paying for driving school. So all of last year, 2023, I went to driving school, guys, and driving school is cheap. Yeah. Now also with doing that, one person moved into the house where I was, and I would have stayed there because I saved a lot, but it got to a point where the person was very mean and toxic, and they were getting nasty. So I'm like, you know what, I have a better job, I'm in a better space, my business is going well, I think it's time for me to elevate. And that's when I decided to move from the old house and move into my own apartment, which you guys were able to witness all of that. Now as I did this, I then ended up starting my business, and guys, my business blew. Like my business went really well because I was only able to work on the weekends and like on holidays. I was always booked, and that gave me an extra like $1,000 a month. Like just by from doing here, I had an extra $1,000 or $1,200 a month. That is my rental alone just from doing here. Now because I ended up like, you know, it's just me, I'm living in a house, like a basement apartment, for $1,200. I ended up getting a car and paying insurance and all of this. Obviously my expenses started to increase. Even though my income was increasing, my expenses started to increase. So I decided to get a second job, which was cleaning, which is a part-time job. Honestly, I didn't have a problem. It was flexible. It's literally what I prayed for, because I wanted something that when I leave work, I didn't have to go right at 5 o'clock. I could go home, relax and do it, or I could do it on the weekend. And God literally gave me a cleaning job, and I got that through the help of my manager from my full-time job, right? And I'm super grateful for them. Now once I got my part-time job, I then ended up working both jobs and doing my hair business, and then that's how I was able to get my car, like do everything on my own. For 1 year, people, I locked in. I grew my content, my TikTok, I got my license, I got my own apartment. Like I was just tackling goal after goal after, like we did just I saw that go any obstacle did in my way, I just saw me, I just tear them down, because I was determined on making sure that I achieved every single goal that I wanted. Obviously it wasn't as easy because you get fight, you know, you get fight, but see me, keep the negativity away and just focus on my goal. I even had one person who I thought was my friend, and she made a remark that if she wanted to, she could run me out of business. That is my royal hair business. Now, one thing about me, if anybody knows me, I like, if I'm here and I have friends and they're down here, I want you to come here or even go higher than me so you can elevate me too. I need people around me that want to elevate, that is pushing hard to elevate, so that I can elevate you, you can elevate me, we can motivate each other. So guys, after taking the bus for every single winter and being here in Canada, I finally decided to get my car after getting my license, and I was able to save up my money and get myself a Hyundai Elantra. Now, this was one of my biggest moments, because just imagine little old me coming and working her ass off, taking the bus, trying to figure out how to get through Canada, and I was able to like save up through my business, through my job, and buy my first car. Like, that was just one of my biggest goals for last year, and I'm super out. Never ever be proud of that. But me buy my first car by myself, yeah. So everybody will get it from them father, them parents. Kudos to your parents. Me never have that, so kudos to me. After doing my license and getting my car, my next goal was to get my permanent residency. Now, with my permanent residency, that's a whole next story. No, I ended up applying for it through one stream. There are multiple different streams that you can get. I went the route of my location and my job. The province that I'm in, they recommended me to get that permanent residency through working, and because of my health job, which is dental assisting, what happened was I had to renew my work permit because I only got 1 year, because I did a 1 year course because of my situation. Now, usually when you do a degree or you do a 2 year course at the college, you get 3 years work permit. I only got 1. Thankfully, by God's grace, I automatically got my work permit extended for an additional a year and a half, because it was 18 months. So I got my work permit extended for an additional practically 2 years, and I was super excited because I didn't have to pay to get it extended, and it all happened so fast by God's grace. Like, that one day did shock me. After getting that, I then applied for my recommendation, and I was kind of scared because I was supposed to apply last June, and they said, you know, so many people are applying that they're gonna shut the old program. And so I applied. I did not have all the hours that I needed for work, but by God's grace, people, I said, listen, I'm gonna apply. I had everything else, and all I was waiting for was the amount of hours that I worked. And so I applied, hoping that everything would be okay, and I got it. Now, once all of that was done, this was when I had to now apply everything by myself. No, I must say, side note, everything that I've done, all the paperwork that I've done since being in Canada, I did all by myself. No lawyer. I got help from people who did it previously, but no lawyer, no help from any agency. I did it all on my own. Yeah, with the help of my boyfriend, people who have done it before, and some friends. I applied for my study permit to get here, applied for my work permit after finishing school, applied to a new college and everything, because, you know, things didn't work out, and then I applied for my permanent residency. I uploaded everything. Once everything went in, they sent back to me that I did not pay the biometrics fee. Now, with biometrics, once you pay it, it tells you on the letter that you don't have to pay it for another 10 years. I've only been here for 5 years, right? So 4 to 5 years. So with doing my permanent residency, I should not have had to pay for one, but I had to. So I ended up missing out on practically 4 months because I had to wait for them to now send me a letter to pay for my biometrics, and that took 2 months. When I finally got it, I had to wait on another month for them to just reply to me to say yes, you get to say yes, your biometrics is good to go. After going through this, guys, it was such a waiting, like it was daunting. I can say this, anybody who's an immigrant, the waiting process is probably the worst part of all of it. Like not knowing, not getting a reply ASAP, not seeing the behind the scenes. That is the worst part when it comes to being an immigrant and being someone who's trying to like work to the next level. Some people, I can say thank God, because guys, some people have been here for years and has still not seen their way or still not seen how to get papers, and I can say thank God, because after submitting everything, the people told me they needed a police record from Jamaica. I have not been to Jamaica since 2019, and the police record that I did in 2019 to come here, I did not make a copy of it. I gave them the original document when I applied. So I ended up going to get my stuff done. I was going to do everything online, and then I had a friend, he knew somebody who could get it done for me in Jamaica, right? The legal way, but they could speed up the process. And so he put me on. I ended up going, getting my fingerprint done. When I went, the lady who did my fingerprint messed it up. She submitted a police record in Canada. That's not what I needed. I just needed my fingerprint to send to Jamaica to submit it in Jamaica. When I had to go back there. And when I explained this to her, she was like, oh, that's not what you told me. She was literally being mean about it. And another lady came up and she helped me. She was like, you know, I'm gonna help you. She helped me with it, and the first lady who messed it up wanted to charge me again, right? But because I wanted to get this done, people, I would pay whatever it needed to be because I needed to get this process going. And the lady who helped me was like, no, don't worry about it, and I didn't have to pay again. Now they did it, and they did it on a piece of paper that kind of looked, the words weren't as clear, but I sent it off, paid shipping over $100 to get it to Jamaica Express as fast as I could. Had to wait for it to get to Jamaica, wait for the person to get it, wait for them to get the police record to send it back. People, when they got the paper, the guy said he sent it back and said they couldn't do it because the fingerprint wasn't an original copy, and that it was original, but because the words on it were blurry, they considered it as not original. People, I cried. I remember that Friday evening I sat in the car and I bawled my eyes out. Because how can you tell me that after going through this and waiting and doing all of this and sending it, I had to do it again? And then my friend said to me, don't worry, go back, do the fingerprint, get it again, and we'll send it again. And I said, okay, no problem. And I prayed to God. I went back there about 2 weeks, 3 weeks after, and I explained to the lady that, you know, they said it wasn't original, and I think it's because the words weren't copied properly. They actually told me, when I went there, the lady said, come back the next day and we'll get it done. I went there the next day. She printed off a whole new set for me with, you know, bright colors and everything, bright words, letters, and I was able to do my fingerprint. She also didn't charge me again because she knew that, you know, they messed up. First off, the first lady messed up my document and sent the wrong document. Then their thing wasn't, they never have no good ink, so it wasn't my fault. So she didn't charge me, thankfully, and I did my fingerprints again and I sent it off, and thankfully, guys, the second time everything was okay. I got the letter from Jamaica, I got my police record from Jamaica, and I was able to submit the other documents that they needed, and now it was just the waiting game. Guys, after being in Canada for close to 5 years and waiting 9 months after starting the process 1 year in, I finally got my permanent residency. Oh my God, can you imagine the feeling that I felt. I told myself that once I got that permanent residency, the first thing I would do is jump and scream and say thank you Jesus, thank you Jesus. Guys, the first thing I did when I saw that permanent residency was bawl. I started crying. I cried and I cried some more. And I think the day that I got the letter of confirmation, I was at work, and that very same day I got a pay raise. So I felt so good, because all of these are things that I listed on my vision bingo board, my bingo vision board, and I accomplished it all because I was thinking ahead, being driven, being delusional, thinking and knowing that God will come through for me. Everything happened, and on that day I was having a rough month, I'm telling you, and I got my permanent residency. I was like, God, who could it be but you? And so I had to wait to get the card. After a month, the card came in the mail, and that feeling was even better than when you get the confirmation, because I'm telling you, having that card in your hand with your name and the things on it that says you're a permanent residency, a lot of people don't understand that permanent residency opens up so many more doors for you as an immigrant. It's basically equivalent to a citizenship. The only thing a citizenship allows you to do, your passport as a Canadian citizen, is to vote and to travel. But everything else, to get loans, to get grants and loans and scholarships to go back to school, to pay cheaper domestic fees for school, to buy a house, to start a business, to everything as a Canadian, get a health card, like all the things as a Canadian I'm able to do. I can leave freely and come back whenever I want. I can have my job here, I could do what I want, I could still have my house and things in Jamaica, come here and go. Like, these are things that I wasn't able to do. And guys, I did it with a huge support team behind me, but most importantly, I did it by myself. And now that I'm speaking about it, I'm getting emotional again, because I knew what I had to go through. At one point when COVID happened in 2019 and my mom didn't have a job because the lady died, I wasn't sure what was gonna happen. I didn't know what to do in terms of going back to school. I didn't have the money. I had to pay back the money all on my own. I phoned a family member. We are not very close, but I phoned her and she said, if you need Tassimel, when the time comes, you can come and live with me. And I thought I had that person in my corner, and when the time came, the person said I couldn't. Their child came back and is living in the room that I would have stayed, so I can't come to their house anymore. And I was devastated because I didn't know what to do. Like, I almost ended up homeless in Canada. And that's how Toy, let me say, him being by my side, because he was like, Tassimel, don't go nowhere, stay where you're there, save, work, and you get through it. And that is exactly what I did. So anybody who see me and you think everything is perfect, life is not perfect, but it's what you make it. And one thing I can say is that I worked my ass off to get where I am now. I'm going to keep working my ass off to get even farther. And if you are currently in a situation or in a space where you're not sure where to turn, left, right, or center, if you're currently an immigrant, if you're currently deciding to travel to another country to pursue a new life or school or work or whatever it is, just know that you can do it. If the average Tassimel, I mean, I ain't average, man. But if me can do it, you can do it. So you just have to put your mind to it, and as long as you trust in God, pray about it, and if you have a support system, that also makes it even better. So I want to leave this message by saying, to every single person who has helped me in any way, shape, or form to get to where I am today, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I pray that anything that you wish upon me, God will grant it to you 10 times more. I am thankful and I'm grateful for the position I'm in, and I'm grateful that I live today to tell my story, and I know some my journey not done. But I say this to say, keep pushing, and whatever you're going through, God will work it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed surviving Canada as an international student, because me being able to sit here and tell my story means a lot. If you have questions, if there's anything you'd like to know regarding school and coming, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll answer the questions as best as I can, or reach out to me on Instagram. Make sure to follow me on TikTok, support me, send these videos to someone you know and love. And like I said, if you have questions, send me a DM on Instagram. I try my best to answer them, or I'll try my best to send you a link to where you can find the information. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.